Your Jacksonville Jaguars, first place in the AFC South, all by themselves. Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thank you so much for tuning in. Right now, we're going to try to tackle the question, are the Jaguars for real? Hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can support the channel further by going to GenJag.com, picking up some gear, or becoming a channel member on here. Some cool perks, so go check it out in the description below. So, we all know the Jaguars, they're in first place in the AFC South, first place in their division. If the playoffs started today, your Jacksonville Jaguars would be in. They'd be the AFC South champs, and they're the only team at this point through 2 weeks that has won a game in the division. Startling stuff. Colts and Texans tied in week 1. Titans are 0-2 after getting dismantled by the Bills on Monday Night Football. Jaguars obviously beat the Colts, and the Texans lost to the Broncos. So the Jags are the only team with a win in the division. Statistically, they're doing a lot of things really well in Jacksonville, leading the league in turnover differential. They've forced 6 turnovers in 2 games after forcing 9 turnovers all of last year. They're number 2 in team DVOA over on Football Outsiders, behind only the Bills. Their offense has been moving the ball with efficiency. Their run defense has been stifling. They've been aggressive with their play calling and spots on both sides of the ball, which should come as no surprise with Doug Peterson being the leader. Been aggressive with some fourth down decisions. They're doing a lot of things right now that have proven to work in the modern game on offense. Motion, play action, screen. Some really nice passing and rushing concepts, and some good stuff on the defensive side of the ball too that you saw from Mike Caldwell in week 2. I think when we're talking about the question, are the Jaguars for real? Right now, they're certainly the most for real team in the AFC South. The Texans look kind of how we've expected them to look, competitive with teams because they'll grind it out. They'll work hard. But they're not at the level of talent that they need to be a true competitor at this point. The Titans look like they might be in shambles, benching Ryan Tannehill last night. The Colts, another slow start for a Frank Reich-led Colts team. Now, I do think the Titans and Colts could rebound. I think they could get back on track. But right now, yes, the Jaguars are the most for real team in the AFC South. But I do have questions still. The offensive line struggled in pass protection in week 1. They did an amazing job in week 2 keeping Trevor clean. So, which unit is for real? The one we saw in week 1 that got absolutely annihilated by the Washington Commanders defensive front, which is a team that, by the way, kind of struggled against the Lions? Or are they the team that showed up in week 2 from an offensive line pass protection standpoint? The team that allowed Trevor Lawrence to have an incredibly efficient day, throwing the ball all over the yard, completing 83% of his passes. I'm inclined to believe they're somewhere in the middle. And then you look at the run blocking department, the opposite is true. Blocked their asses off getting after the Commanders' defensive front in week 1. Creating a lot of holes, a lot of space for James Robinson and Travis Etienne. And then week 2, Colts come into town and they stuff up the run. The Jaguars can't get it going on the ground outside of that one big James Robinson touchdown run. What's real there? I would say I do believe the way that the Commanders and Colts were trying to attack the Jaguars offense, I think they took opposite approaches. The Commanders were focused on creating pressure on Trevor Lawrence. They were focused on the pass rush. While the Colts defense, I mean, you saw it in week 1 as well. They're focused on stopping the run. They're struggling to stop the pass right now. So, yeah, I think what's real, what's not real, I think it's going to depend on the opponent on a weekly basis. When you have teams loading up to stop the run, I think you're going to be able to take advantage of them with the pass and vice versa. And now it is a really long football season, right? We've only seen 2 games from these Jaguars. They've been impressive in those 2 games. 1-1. Could not take down the Commanders, but that was more on self-inflicted wounds than anything else. But a lot can happen. You've got 15 games left in the regular season for the Jags. What happens when other teams get a book on these guys? What happens if the I word pops up? What happens when it's not as easy as it was on Sunday against the Colts? What happens when you're in a dogfight? We haven't seen them in that situation yet, and when we did see them in a relative dogfight in week 1, the defense folded at the end, allowed a big touchdown, and the offense couldn't get the job done. Can they win a dogfight, a brawl? I don't know yet. I'd probably put them at 8 wins right now. I had them at 7 wins prior to the season. And who knows? That could win you the AFC South in 2022. We're going to find out. Answering the question, though, are they for real? I think that they are for real from a long-term outlook, no question about it. Doug Peterson has flipped the script. A lot of people have talked about there's finally an adult in the room in Jacksonville. It's not just that there's an adult, which there is. Doug Peterson absolutely is that, and this coaching staff brings that to the table. But you have an adult who is a master offensive play caller. The biggest thing for me about the Jaguars, outside of how some of the talent has looked, which has been impressive, the offensive play calling, play design, the scheme, the way they're setting things up for later in the game, the way everything's working together, that has been the one constant through the first 2 games. The one single constant, in my opinion, outside of being able to stop the run, which they've done a very good job with, which is huge. Because if you can stop the run, then you can let your big boys up front pin their ears back and go get after the quarterback. They have had an offense that, from a play calling, from a play design standpoint, everything is working for the most part. And when it hasn't worked, it's been on offensive execution. It's been on, we got a penalty here, we got a penalty there, a dropped pass here, a missed throw here, too much pressure from the offensive line. But these concepts are working. You can see it manifesting on the field. So Doug Peterson, Press Taylor, Mike McCoy, Jim Bob Cooter, all those guys scheming up this offense, figuring out this passing game, that is the thing I think is the most real. And Trevor Lawrence, I think, is, one of the 2 best quarterback prospects I've ever scouted. I started doing it in 2018. I think he's a star. No question about it in my mind. So, yeah, I do believe the Jaguars are for real. Does that mean they're going to go win every game that they play from now on? Does it mean that they're going to go out to LA and beat the Chargers if Justin Herbert's healthy, or go up to Philly and take out the Eagles? I don't know. But I do think they're going to win 8 games. I think they're going to be in some meaningful games in December. And who knows? If you're in that position, you have a shot at winning your division. And right now they are leading that division. Their next home game is in week 5 against the Texans. But in between that, they've got at the Chargers, at the Eagles. Not going to be easy, but at this point, I'd probably take them to steal one of those games against 2 teams they're going to be underdogs against without question. I do believe this young Jaguars team is for real. I really believe in the long-term outlook, looking at 2023, 2024. I think they're going to surprise some people the rest of this year. What does that mean? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that they make the playoffs or anything like that. But I think they're going to be competitive week in and week out. I think they have turned a page. And I think week 2 against the Colts, this isn't an overreaction to that. To me, that was a manifestation of everything they've been doing all offseason, of everything Doug Peterson's been doing. This entire coaching staff, this entire roster. I don't think they're going to play that well every single week. Don't get me wrong. I don't know that they're going to win the next 2 games. But I think this franchise is absolutely moving in a really good direction right now. And I'm excited to follow it, to be a part of it, and to continue watching Trevor and Christian Kirk and all these guys get after it. Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen on defense. It's an exciting time to be a Jaguar fan. There's a lot of hope, a lot of optimism if you're a Jaguar fan out there. I do believe they're moving in the right direction. I do think they're for real. That is going to do it. Follow me on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you want to support the channel further, go pick up a hat or shirt, genjag.com right now. We're actually about to drop a pretty exciting pre-order, so you can go check it out. We've got links in the description below. Have a great one, Duval.